It's ticket giveaway time. Have you been looking for the perfect concert to go to with your friend, but you just can't figure out which one to go to? WXOU has the solution. Might I suggest Similar Kind. Similar Kind is an indie pop group based out of Connecticut, and they are genuinely one of my favorite artists at the moment. They just have some of the best songs out there, and if you don't believe me, take a listen for yourself. So if you're at all interested in seeing Similar Kind at the Sanctuary, then be sure to go over to our Instagram page at WXOU Radio, and you'll find a promo over there where you can enter to win those tickets. Hope to see you there.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow right here on 88.3 FM, WXOU, Auburn Hills, Michigan, Oakland University. Sorry for no intro music this time. The computer is having some struggles here. But that does not change the fact that I am your host, Giovanni Moscieri, and also your sports media director here at WXOU. And the GioMoShow is your home for all Oakland University sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. If you're familiar with the GioMoShow, then you can tell I'm getting quite good at this intro. Don't forget to follow me and WXOU as well on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And I'll give you some credit from WXOU social media. They are MAB award winning. This past Great Lakes Media Show held in Lansing, Michigan for high school and college radio stations and television stations. WXOU was named the College Radio Station of the Year for social media and for PSAs. So be sure to give them a follow, as the award was well-deserved. And my social media is pretty good, too. So give everybody a follow. Open up the apps and give everyone a follow to get to know who are we at WXOU and who I am at the GioMoShow. So, for this show today, what do I have for you guys? Well, if you are familiar with that social media, you see that's why I brought it up, then you know that this week's episode of the GioMoShow will feature a total season review of Oakland University softball. The 2023 spring season has been concluded for quite some time now, and it's time for us to reflect and time for us to look back and see the journey that the Golden Grizzlies have had on the softball diamond. In addition to that, we got your classic USPBL baseball update, because I need to get me some Jimmy Johns in my life. And not the sandwiches, I mean the baseball, baby. So we're going to be going over this past week, as it was a bit of an interesting one. I've been following it a little bit closer than usual throughout the week, seeing how the standings changed and stuff. And I was a little shocked today when I found out some of the standings changed from when I originally wrote the show. And, of course, it has to do with my Hoppers. So we'll get into all of that. And then at 6:30, at this half-hour mark, at the middle of the show here, we have a heavyweight of an interview for you guys. And if you know the guest and you know that was hilarious what I just said, we got Chris Platty coming in to the studio, or at least the interview is going to be played here in the studio. I got a chance to talk to the rising star in Michigan and Detroit sports, Chris Platty. He is known for his work at Woodward Sports, as he is one of the mainstays on their 5 to 7 show, The Heavyweights, which is unfortunately right in the middle. The GioMoShow is right in the middle of it. But does not change the fact that he does fantastic work at Woodward Sports, as well as Imperial Media, as he's kind of a both sports and hip-hop music kind of guru. So he's got two specialties in the media game. So we get to talk to him about his career, about how he got into the podcasting and media game. And it's just a great conversation. We'll be playing that at 6:30 here on the GioMoShow. But before we get started with all of that and all the wonderful things that I have for you on the show, we got to talk about Bart's Pizza, baby. Bart Basilico reinvented his father's pizzeria business by putting it on wheels. I'm talking a pizza food truck, baby. Bart and his wife Lauren travel all around Metro Detroit, cooking up homemade pies made fresh to order in their 4-layered pizza oven on wheels. You can find them on their website at eatbartspizza.com and on Facebook and Instagram, as I'm sure if they were entered, they would be MAB award-winning as well. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Bart's Pizza. And his last name is literally Basil. And if I got to spell it out for you, you got Bart Basilico. That means basil. So you know he knows what he's doing with a last name like that. And while you're at it, I'm not done yet, make sure to grab a cannoli as well for a sweet treat after your homemade pie. Bart's Pizza, it's too good.
Yo, 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 I'm Jake Masucci from Jake's Takes. I wanted to talk a little bit about my show on my guy Giovanni's own show. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about Jake's Takes. I'm a student manager at Oakland University, and I kind of just talk all things sports. I talk a lot about the NBA, talk a little college basketball. We did a lot of March Madness stuff recently. We talked about NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs, talked a lot about the NFL draft. It's basically just an all things sports show. I really think you guys would enjoy it. And shout out to my guy Giovanni. Love him. But please check out Jake's Takes. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and then it's also available on its own YouTube channel. So please check out Jake's Takes, but please continue enjoying Giovanni's show.
And now we get to what I consider my little personal adventure here, is that we always cover the USPBL at Jimmy John's Field here on the JoMo Show. I just, for whatever reason, I've kind of gone into it in other episodes, but I just love watching and following the USPBL. It's so fun when you get a minor league like that. It's low stakes. It's not a huge deal like it is with the Tigers, and you get visibly and like actually upset when things aren't going your way because they're professionals and all that. But with the USPBL, it's light fun. It's very family oriented. It's easy access to the field, and tickets are accessible as well. So just everything they do. I just love the way they do their business, and I just love covering them because I am the number one Diamond Hoppers fan that you will ever meet, and I dare you to challenge me on that. Frog up is what I say at all times. Check Twitter. That's what I got in my bio. So this week in the USPBL, we had quite a bit of action here. We got games from June 29th all the way to July 5th, and I'll take you through the entire week. So last Thursday, right after the JoMo Show, as usually they have games at about 7:05, which is literally 5 minutes after the JoMo Show is wrapped up, they played a game. It was the Diamond Hoppers. It was my Diamond Hoppers against the Utica Unicorns, the team that I am not the biggest fan of if you're familiar with my coverage of the USPBL. I see them as the Patriots. I see the Unicorns as Golden State. I see them as the team that just keeps winning and winning and winning, and I don't like it. I need the underdog story. I need a team that comes rising from the ashes, not the ones that are I hate to say front running, but you know what I mean, like those perennial winners. I want parity, man. I want things to be shaken up, and I want things to be different and exciting each time. I don't want to know the end before it begins. So that's why I am not the biggest fan of the Unicorns, if you needed some explanation for that. So in this game against the Diamond Hoppers and the Unicorns, started off Unicorns lead with a single run in the first inning, and then Diamond Hoppers, they lay on 1 and 2 and 3 runs in the third inning to take a 3-1 lead. And then we move all the way to the 8th inning. Scores were frozen all the way from the 3rd to the 8th inning. Each team scored a single run, and that kept the Diamond Hoppers with their 2-run lead to finish the game 4-2, defeating their division rivals in the Utica Unicorns 4-2. Alex Pup and Luis Acevedo had great games on the in the batter box. Alex Pup went 1 for 5 with a single run, and then Luis Acevedo went 3 for 4 with a single run and 3 RBIs. So those two guys that I just mentioned were responsible for all of the scoring. Well, that's not true. You got Taj Porter, who chipped in another run as well. If I did my math right, I would know that there was a little bit more going on here. But either way, Diamond Hoppers win 4-2. Christian Stelling, let me tell you something. I was watching this weekend because they streamed the games on YouTube, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I saw there was Christian Stelling, former Golden Grizzly and the best mustache on the team, and I would say best mustache in all of Oakland D1 sports. And I saw him pitching for the Hoppers. I go, there's no way. There's no way. How did I miss this? And I'm listening to the commentary. They're mentioning that this is, one of his first outings as a Hopper. I'm like, let's go. We got a Grizzly who's pitching for the Hoppers. I couldn't be happier. And I hope that you Hopper fans couldn't be happier as well, as he chipped in a single inning and did not allow a single run, and he got a strikeout in that time too. But it was Chris Kelly who was pulling the load for the Hoppers at the pitcher's mound. Went 5 innings and allowed just 1 hit and 1 run, with 2 strikeouts after facing 18 batters. So that gives a win for the Hoppers. I got to hustle here if I want to get in time for the Chris Platty interview coming up at around 6:30. So we got to hustle a little bit here. We got another game. This one was June 30th. It was against the Mammoths and the Beavers. And the Mammoths, they made themselves known. 11-2 was the final score in favor of the Mammoths. And we got a lot of highlighted batters here. We got Jordan Hussein, who was 1 for 3 with 2 runs. You got Burl Dixon, who was 0 for 3 but had 3 runs in the game. You got Lamar Briggs, who was 3 for 4 with 3 runs and 2 RBIs. Oh my. And then Livingston Morris was 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs against the Beavers. So big win for the Mammoths in a Western Division game. We then move on to the Saturday doubleheader. That was July 1st. That was the Hoppers and the Unicorns. They face off once again. The Hoppers, they were able to get the best of them in Game 1, 6-5. It was a nail-biter in this one. This one was also a outing for Christian Stelling, who had a clutch 2.2 innings pitched. He allowed just a single hit with 2 batters walked and 2 strikeouts after facing 11 Unicorn batters. So it was, it was very. I was just so excited watching Christian Stelling doing the pitching for the Hoppers. I'm like, this is so sweet. And I was telling my brothers, and they were like, but that's the usual. So some highlight batters. You got Luis Acevedo once again, 2 for 4 with 2 runs. You got Joe Burke, who went 2 for 3, 2 runs and 2 RBIs, and then Bryant Schellenbarger. My God, you can pronounce it. It's just a lot of syllables. Bryant Schellenbarger went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So that's a win for Game 1 for the Hoppers. Game 2, I don't think I've seen a sweep in a doubleheader before, because it was the Unicorns that got the best of the Hoppers, winning 4-3 in another nail-biter game. Nick Pastor for the Unicorns went 1 for 2, 1 run and 1 RBI. Josh Baker, same exact stat line. And then James Morris, 1 for 2 with an RBI as well. So it couldn't get the sweep, but that put the Hoppers in position to be within half a game of the Unicorns, at least at the time. So then that brings us to another game played. We got 2 more games here. July 2nd was the Mammoths and the Beavers in a game that was 1-1 and went all the way to sudden death. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a box score for this one. But judging by the scorecard, I guess you could say, the Beavers had 7 hits in that game and were only able to score a single run off of it. Them playing on defense and sudden death thus gave them the win against the Mammoths. And then finally we got another matchup for the Hoppers. This time against the Beavers. This was played yesterday, July 5th. And it was not good for my Hoppers. 0-3 was the final score in favor of the in favor of the Beavers. J.D. Stubbs went 1 for 4 with a run, and then Luke Stephenson went 1 for 3. So I mean, 3-0. It's not a whole lot of action going on for the Beavers here. Rudy Ramirez went 0 for 3, but had a run recorded. Christian Stelling had another 2 innings. He allowed no runs and no RBI, or no hits and no runs. Man, I'm stumbling here. No runs, no hits, and maintains a perfect ERA so far in the 7 innings that he has pitched. So it's a great start for Christian Stelling, former Golden Grizzly. And then finally, to wrap up our USPBL segment, we were running low on time here. USPBL All-Star Game is going to be taking place this week. And I'm not going to go through all the players that were named to the All-Star teams. You can find them on USPBL social media, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find all the names named to the 2023 All-Star Game. But I did a little bit of the numbers. I crunched up the numbers, and I was like, I wonder who out of the 4 teams in the USPBL has the most All-Stars. And I did the math. Hoppers lead it. They lead the league in All-Stars with 13, that accounting for 27.7% of the All-Star team. or the All-Star game, rather. The Beavers had 12, Mammoths had 11, and then the Unicorns, surprisingly, for the team that's been in first place for so long, only has 10 All-Stars. So I know it's not a huge gap, but I like knowing that the Hoppers have the most All-Stars in the league so far. And I'm going to be mentioning it. I got my All-Star Frogs playing in the league here. So you're going to be, I'm going to be calling them the All-Star Frogs for quite a little bit here. So that's going to wrap up our little segment on the USPBL. Cut short, unfortunately, due to timing here, but that brings us to what I've been so excited for the couple of weeks since I have the conversation recorded, was between me and Chris Platty.